you can't teach crypto. I think it's a passion, but you can teach VC. Learning crypto is a skill, and I think it's a passion. And it's almost like if you miss one day, you're going to have a disadvantage. Blockchain gaming has been the shittiest returning narrative in crypto within this cycle. Honestly, most of my success in crypto comes from COVID, actually. Blockchain gaming hasn't run is because you have all these gaming projects that are raising like small pre-seeds, like 1 to 5 million, and then they're hurrying like to rush a product to market. Crypto's so good, like seamlessly abstracting away all these complexities. Like you can sign in with like email or phone number. The only thing that matters for crypto is liquidity. We're gonna get our moment. The fact that we have like these old fucking boomers dancing on our graves right now with like the gold, silver, copper trade, like I'm telling you, when this shit tops, like we're gonna have our moment. I'm like beyond confidence. Crypto is very like narrative driven. Like everyone's trying to position like what is next.
What's up, everyone? It's Alpha, the Beluga intern, local crypto degen, aspiring college dropout. And we are here with Jackie, who's a young crypto VC from Sidedoor Ventures, investing in absolutely awesome technology. The boy Will, the GOAT, king of the trenches.
And hey everyone, good to be back. It's been I think it's been like a month since I've been on a pod, and you've been running these in the meantime, so it's good to be back.
We've missed you, Will.
Well, yeah, boys, thanks for having me. I guess we're all trying to survive the market pain like everyone else, and the intro music's awesome. Fall back my jam, and you guys got me excited and ready to do this pod.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So before we get into it, two things. Everyone, make sure you like, comment, repost, share this with friends. I cut a deal with the CEO of the company that if we get one of these podcasts to go on the trending page, I'll drop out of college. So if you want to help me get out of college and go full-time in the trenches, make sure you share this with as many people as you can. Jackie, by being on this podcast, you are endorsing the fact that I'm trying to get out of school. So I appreciate you. But
we'd love to make that happen for you, Aiden.
Thank you. If for those who don't know us, we are Beluga. We are the nerd wallet for crypto. We have a newsletter with 100,000 subscribers, written by Will, and we have articles on all things crypto. We stay in the trenches 24/7, so you don't have to. And then we have this podcast where we try to get the best people in crypto to tell us interesting stories and give us the alpha. So if you like this, if you want to learn more about crypto, if you want to learn more about crypto VC, make sure you stay tuned and make sure you follow us on all platforms. So without further ado, Jackie, how'd you get into crypto?
Yeah, good question. So I actually got into crypto back in 2018 when I was a senior in high school. I remember I was sitting in the back of math class, Mr. Eshton's math class. I'm not kidding you. So they had all those desk chairs. And in the back of his classroom, they had these couches. And basically what we would do is we would post up on the couches. We would talk nonsense all day. And I'll never forget, there was this one kid. His name was Isaac Spivak. He would always tell me about Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. And he knew I was very, very involved in traditional equities at the time, had no exposure to crypto. And eventually, like this kid, Isaac, he could convince me. He's like, download a Binance account. This is like when Binance was allowed in the US. So this was like 2018, download the account. Started degenning and buying like very, very small amounts of crypto. And then funny enough, the only other time I'd heard of crypto was when me and my friends, I don't know if it was I think it was our senior year of high school. We were going to purchase fake IDs. So, take the photos and whatnot. And in order to purchase the fake IDs, how we actually bought them, we had to send Bitcoin to this long hash. So we sent Bitcoin to this long hash, and a few weeks later, the fake IDs had showed up at the door. But anyways, that was like, kind of how I got in. And from there, I just kind of fell in love with the ethos of like decentralization, like censorship resistant, and the whole notion that like Bitcoin is digital gold. And Bitcoin, obviously, I feel like recently with like gold and commodities running, it's kind of like separated from digital gold, but I'm optimistic like down the road that it will morph into that. But yeah, that kind of led me down a deep rabbit hole. As you remember, like back in 2020, NBA Top Shot was launched by Dapper Labs. Started buying all these started buying all these moments. And what the moments were basically like little short videos of NBA games, and I started buying these like the first versions. Did pretty well, and then that led me down like the deepest rabbit hole into NFTs. So NFTs like circa 2021 went super hard. Started multiple player and gaming teams. I was actually running a few different guilds at the time with 10,000 plus gamers. So what I would do is I would buy a lot of these player and gaming NFTs, and I would rent them out for a revenue split. This is like pre token, like there was no token. A lot of these guys that were in my guild were speculating on the future token going up. So at the time, it was like a lot of people that were in the Philippines, and wages in the Philippines are extremely low. So what I would do, I'd pay them USDC. They were farming for the token and working at a coffee shop. So that was super fun. Worked out pretty well. And then honestly, most of my success in crypto comes from COVID, actually. So this is like when I was in university, COVID hit, went to Indiana. First of all, shout out Kurt Zanetti, shout out Fernando Mendoza, Indiana Hoosiers national champs. But yeah, during COVID, like became like super fixated on crypto and basically would trade all day, leverage trade, spot trade, and all my crypto success is basically from like teaching myself. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there. And then since then, just been working at Sidedoor for about 4 years now, running our blockchain and Web3 team, where we've done 63 first check investments. We've done 5 follow-ons. And basically, our digital asset fund maintain an agnostic approach, anything from layer ones, infrastructure, tooling, LRTs, LSTs, stablecoin, Bitcoin ecosystem, looking into a lot of PMs like prediction markets now. But yeah, also doing a bunch of angel investments in the space. I think over the last year or so, done 10 plus. Yeah, that's kind of like my break into to Web3.
What made you want to go down the VC route rather than just kind of staying, trading yourself or building something? What made you take that leap?
Yeah, so this is actually really funny. I was in college, like I quickly realized like after graduating, I only wanted to work in crypto. So at the time, just work, interviewing with a bunch of companies and met Andrew Beatty, who went on your guys' podcast
Oh,
2 months ago. And the first time we talked, like
He's the
Bitcoin
man.
OG, he's the fucking man. Anyways, I meet Andrew and like I get in 2018. Like I feel like I classify that as being late to crypto. And Beatty gets in like 2011. Tells me this whole story about him. He was renting this place in Newport where they didn't charge him for using electricity, set up all these mining rigs. I thought this guy instantly was a hero. Started telling him about my trading journey into like NFTs. He knew I was a pretty good trader, like picking companies early, which then actually morphed into Sidedoor. We invested in a couple of gaming projects like I think like 2020, 2021. And we had all these assets. So I was running the guilds for Sidedoor before I joined full time. And then I ended up joining full time in 2021. Honestly, in full transparency, the VC like route pretty much fell on my lap. Like I said, I was very focused on the trading side, and then the venture aspect. I didn't even know venture at the time, so I attribute a lot of my venture success to not only Andrew Beatty, who is the GP at our fund, but JJ McLean, who's also a partner at Sidedoor, because they actually trained me on like the VC stuff. And what Andrew always told me, and which I preach to a lot of younger kids that are trying to break into crypto, you can't teach crypto. I think it's a passion, but you can teach VC. So if anyone wants to get into actual venture, on the crypto side, you have to know crypto before you know VC. Learning crypto is a skill, and I think it's a passion. It's almost like if you miss one day, like you're gonna have a disadvantage. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got into crypto, or crypto VC, I should say.
I love that way of thinking about it because I think one piece of advice my dad always gave me, he's a total like kind of tradfi boomer guy, but the advice still applies, which is that if you love kind of the investing track and you love doing research on companies, you'll almost always outcompete the people who are just kind of there, to make the money in the first place. I think maybe not in, 2018 timeframe, but over the last couple of years, a lot of the market participants are, here for one thing. Not to say we don't all want to make money, of course, but I appreciate hearing like you really do need the crypto side. I mean, I've seen just personally a lot of crypto VCs tend to lack, at least from my perspective, kind of practical experience using a lot of the products that they're investing in, and often that doesn't work out. And to me, that seems very obvious. You've got to be a crypto guy, a real crypto native, to be a proper venture investor in the space.
For sure. And I think like one thing that really helps Sidedoor out, we do other things outside of crypto, like a lot of deep tech, frontier tech, and space tech investing, where we've invested like 80% of our crypto fund into equity-based deals. So we've always been looking for like good traction, a good product, which has actually set us up for success in the long run. And then actually teaching like the ins and outs in crypto, you just can't. So like I think like for anyone that's trying to get into it, like learn that side, and the venture side is super easy to learn. Like,
what do you think separates the good, successful crypto VCs from the mediocre and poor performing ones?
Crypto is very like narrative driven. Like everyone's trying to position like what is next. You know what I mean? Over the last couple of years, it's like, okay, it's been like AI X crypto, it's been DePIN, it's been decentralized compute. We've seen like prediction markets pop off. Now you're seeing, or you had like the whole PerpDex fiasco and the privacy narrative. So it feels like every single month or two, you have these different narratives that run. But like, how do you position yourself for the long run? With a lot of these funds that we deal share with, it seems like a lot of people at the moment aren't really deploying right now. A lot of people are in this like wait and see mode. So I guess from my experience, a lot of these funds are like trying to get DPI. They're on fund one, trying to raise fund two, just kind of seeing how the market plays out. But yeah, I guess like something interesting before I jump into that question, Aiden, is like looked at like the 2025 funding report for crypto. So basically what I realized is like, even though the market is the biggest piece of shit right now, there's actually by like the amount of capital being invested at all-time highs. And if you look at deal count, so it's like companies are actually breaking away, like, fundamentally strong, Series A, Series B. But if you look at like pre-seed, seed, the actual deal count's way down. So that what just tells me is like we're seeing a consolidation in crypto, and like the good projects will succeed. I don't know if that's a product of M&A or the IPO market popping off for crypto, because it seems like every single week or every single month a lot of IPOs are happening, and liquid markets like the entire liquid market is kind of decoupled. But yeah, I guess like what separates good venture investors from another is just being early to narratives. Like we are extremely contrarian. If the market's talking about that specific narrative, you're most likely late. Which I feel like privacy right now, everyone's talking about privacy. If you're investing in privacy right now, I'm assuming like a couple weeks from now, like privacy will be pretty dead. So just being early to markets, having that conviction, and it's not just like, it's no longer short term on the liquid side, right? Like short term on liquid, you could in previous cycles as a VC, you could perform very well. Actually, investing in companies that are building for the future, I think that's like what differentiates good funds from bad funds.
What do you think about given that, which I totally agree with, by the way, that ever since I joined crypto in 2019, there's been a new flavor of the month every single month, which makes it, especially as you said, I think 80% of your deals are on the equity side, which, typically comes with a long vesting duration schedule. It's certainly not super liquid. How do you guys think about kind of investing timeframes with that in mind?
Yeah. So, I mean, the standard venture fund, 7-10 years, we always told our LPs was with crypto, like you said, Will, 80% of our investments went into equity. Usually with those equity deals, right? Do equity plus a token warrant. Most of the time, the structure is like you get your pro rata. So if you invest like 100,000 at 10 million, you own 1% of the company, you get 1% of the token supply. Obviously, we pitched to our LPs was that like liquidity would come early from the tokens. But yeah, that's kind of contingent on like vesting in cliff periods that can be anywhere from 1 to 4 years. So I don't know. There's many different things, I guess, but yeah, that's kind of what we fixated on.
What's your favorite portfolio company?
Good question. I was waiting for this one. I guess before I get into that, I just want to publicly apologize. If there's any, if there's any side door portfolio companies that are listening to this podcast, let me just give a quick shout out to some that are doing well, like Mission Labs and the Sweet Blockchain, Hi-Fi Bridge, River Protocol, Scallop, TensorBlock, Gaid, and many others. I know you guys do some work with them, but by far my favorite portfolio company is EtherFi. So I'll tell you a little story. We invested in their pre-seed. We did their Series A. But the reason that we invested in EtherFi was super simple. We were all very, very large holders of ETH, and we literally experienced like firsthand how difficult back in the last cycle, how difficult it was to use like Lido or Rocket Pool, because like in order to run a node, you needed 32 ETH. And at the time, EtherFi changed the game, basically like allowing you to have custody of your keys, and you could stake as little as a couple dollars. So that was like very big for us. But yeah, I think most of the viewers probably know EtherFi at this point, largest liquid restaking protocol. They've got $9 billion of TVL. They've done a phenomenal job. Like the amount of ETH they have staked right now is at all-time highs. Even though the prices of ETH are absolutely fucked. I think what ETH's at like 2,800. I suspect, once ETH goes up, you're going to see all-time highs TVL. But yeah, now like the reason I really love it is EtherFi has evolved into so much more than just like an LRT or LST. I'm sure you guys know EtherFi Cash. So EtherFi Cash essentially is like a decentralized version of Revolut. Allows you to like spend, manage, and earn on your assets, and specifically like around a lot of like ETH and stablecoin stuff. But the product has been like wildly successful so far. I don't know how many months they've been operating, probably less than 6 months. They've got 50,000 signups, largest crypto credit card right now, doing anywhere from 2 to 4 million in volume per day, tracking $1 billion in cumulative spend for 2026. Last year, they did about 60 million in ARR, tracking $100 million this year. Put it out there for the viewers, not financial advice, but I'm telling you right now, EtherFi, by far one of the most undervalued tokens. I mean, if you're doing $100 million in ARR in Web3 and you're trading at 570 million FDV, something is wrong. So comparing to like traditional multiples and neobanks and payments, like what they're doing is absolutely insane. So yeah, EtherFi, by far my favorite portfolio company.
It's funny because I think like I remember when all EtherFi did was kind of on the restaking and staking side. It's funny they've in 6 months, I think you're right. They only launched Cash 6 months ago. The product has grown so significantly that I think most people in the market would think of EtherFi as being kind of EtherFi Cash. And then, they have this whole other arm of the business that's obviously already been wildly successful.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've
like
built some amazing stuff.
it's actually, I don't know if a lot of the viewers know this, but EtherFi also has a venture fund. I'm an LP in, but like I was talking to David this week, I think the market still categorizes EtherFi as like an LRT or LST, and unless you're like super crypto native, most people don't know that they have this cash product or more like the decentralized Revolut. So just like articulating to the market and like classifying them under this category, and so many cool products to launch, all these different vaults that they have, kind of branching off from ETH. I think like a lot of their success is tied to ETH, like Ethereum runs, EtherFi is one of the main beta plays, but like they're doing so much more than that. Like whether it's staking with Bitcoin, building, I'm pretty sure they've got a hyper liquid integration for like perps and spot trading. So yeah, I think there's many opportunities for EtherFi to grow beyond, what most of the market knows them for.
I guess I'm going to front run Aiden asking this question because I know he's super excited about it. But kind of going back to your origin story within the blockchain gaming world, which is similar to my story. I was also NFT built by Top Shot and got super deep into games. I have now kind of relinquished that interest. Curious to hear kind of your thoughts on blockchain gaming. Is it still interesting? Has it changed from your origins? And yeah, kind of what are you thinking?
Yeah, good question. Honestly, this is a bittersweet question for me because I give a lot of my success in crypto to blockchain gaming. It was literally one of the first reasons that I literally broke into crypto. But side door, as I mentioned already on this pod, we used to do a lot of blockchain gaming, and this is like pre our digital asset fund spinning up like pretty big investments in that space. But now, like, we're very agnostic, both sector geographically. I swear to fucking God, it's one of the only sectors, like blockchain gaming and NFTs are one of the only sectors that we're not deploying into.
You're
But
killing Aiden. You're killing
hear
Aiden.
me out. Like growing up, I played a lot of video games, and I spent a shit ton of money on like all these Web2 games, buying all these skins. And as you realize like all these games are monetizing off you, that's when like blockchain gaming clicked for me in 2021. It's like, I can actually play these games, have like some kind of an economic incentive. But I thought about this so much because I do love gaming. Obviously, I love the blockchain. Like, why does blockchain gaming, or why hasn't it worked out? I want to apologize, Aiden. Like, blockchain gaming has been the shittiest returning narrative in crypto within this cycle.
I can't argue with that.
I have seen
or
it.
ever, I think.
Ever. Oh,
Yeah.
2020, like the last cycle, like blockchain gaming was
Yeah.
absolutely fucking epic. This cycle, it's been ass. But I have seen within like the last couple of weeks, there's been a few blockchain gaming tokens that have recently run. My thesis of like why blockchain gaming hasn't run is because you have all these gaming projects that are raising like small pre-seeds, like 1 to 5 million, and then they're hurrying like to rush a product to market. They're super janky and they're not sticky. Whereas these AAA gaming studios take 3 to 5 years in development. They have hundreds of millions of dollars going into one game. Like, just think about like GTA. GTA was set to launch like years ago. Like, they're not going to release the product until it's like finally finished and good. So I think that's like one of the main things tying or holding blockchain gaming back is just like the amount of time and money going into these games versus like AAA gaming studios. So yeah, hopefully in the future, because I love gaming, it comes back. But right now it's dark times.
I mean, I do totally agree. Like in theory, it makes total sense, right? And I'm in a similar boat. I'm still a big video game guy. I've spent I don't know how much money on like cosmetic items, like stuff that just doesn't matter at all. That side of it totally makes sense to me. My personal opinion, I feel like if we had gone for blockchain as a backend that, is entirely, and I don't think this is even really contrarian at this point, but, keep it invisible to the average user, then you can kind of generate all the benefits without so many of the negative kind of optics. We also maybe don't need a uber volatile token that like justifies the total games economy, but that's maybe another conversation. Yeah, I think it's so interesting. Eventually, it'll work, I think.
No, I totally agree. It's just like we first had blockchain gaming, it was like you still needed your MetaMask or Phantom wallet to sign in. And now like crypto's so good, like seamlessly abstracting away all these complexities. Like you can sign in with like email or phone number. So I feel like you can have a blockchain game and not even know that you're using crypto. And then like to your point, Will, a lot of these tokens are so useless in these economies where I don't know, it could be a product of like blockchain gaming, but it could be a product of like, we need to figure out like tokenomics as a whole because tokenomics are so broken at this point. And it's not only just blockchain gaming, it's like the whole industry.
Well, I mean, that kind of links to something you were talking about earlier with your guys' investments. Even though it's 80% equity, often that comes with a token deal assigned to it. And like that kind of begs the question, why do you need two supposedly, equity equivalent investment vehicles? It feels like that whole kind of tokenomics, token mechanics world is messed up. For a while, nobody really cared that it wasn't equity, and now feels like people are starting to take note that, for example, Tensor can get acquired and people holding the token are kind of screwed, right? Yeah, feels like that conversation's at least starting to happen now, which I think is a good thing for the industry.
For sure. Like, as I mentioned to you guys, our equity based investments are doing much better. And like a lot of these fundamentals are totally decoupled away from tokens. I'm optimistic. Like, I think it just starts like with Bitcoin getting going again, and then it will start like funneling down to fundamentally strong alts. Like, it's not going to be the same altcoin season as we've seen previously, where if Bitcoin runs, literally everything under the sun moves. It's going to be the ones that are actually building real products that people use. But yeah, I think like tokenomics are a main issue right now in the market.
I agree with that, and I think there's a big crowd, and Will could probably speak to this as well because I know you have a strong opinion on it. There's like a subset of the DeFi crowd who are people who are like, democratize everything about finance and make it so that I can get in VC deals too. And then like you turn around and you see how the market reacted to Moonbirds having a 2-year vest and everyone lost their mind. And it's like you're talking about deals that last 5 or 10 years. And it's like maybe we shouldn't just let everyone get put in vesting cycles they don't understand.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know if it's a product of the centralized exchanges, like the Binances and Coinbase of the world, but like pretty much every single exchange now, or the larger exchanges, are requiring a 1 year cliff. So like after the TG 1 year, there's no liquidity for VCs, and then it follows the same vesting schedule, anywhere from 1 to 3 years. A linear vest. It could be quarterly unlocks. I'm curious, your guys' take. I think that model is so broken. I don't know how it gets fixed, but like there's been a couple projects that have launched recently. But if you look at like historically what projects have done the best in terms of token performance, it's the tokens that are actually getting their supply in market on day one. So like recently, like Canton Network did this. They're up 100% over the last few months. I know Tau pretty much fully in supply. And I think the market needs to shift, whether it's just like getting tokens in supply earlier or setting these FTVs lower. One thing I'm actually pretty bullish on is like a non-linear vesting schedule. So not like your traditional schedules that you've seen this far. So yeah, I think tokenomics are a product of the shitty liquid market that you're seeing right now.
When you say do you mean dynamic vesting schedule in that like it's market cap based or it's revenue based, or could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, can you repeat that real quickly?
Or
Like,
sorry,
what do you mean?
you just said that you didn't really agree with the linear vesting schedule model. Like how would you, I guess, improve upon that?
A lot of like retail has been harping on VCs for offloading bags, so they want to see VCs locked in for longer, or from 1 to 4 years. But it's been so industry standard that these exchanges are going to make VCs be locked in for a year. So that means within the first 12 months of the token being live, there's no liquidity for VCs, and then thereafter, anywhere from 12 to 36 months, after every single month, we're going to unlock linearly. I just think like that whole model is broken because like you can set these FTVs with these exchanges extremely high. Why not just set your FTV a little bit lower? Allow people, because I think there's an emotional tie. Is what I guess I'm trying to get at. Is like if retail comes in and they make money on your token, then they'll be a holder of your token forever. So what has retail actually made money on? Retail has made money on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, maybe hype. Like these projects are doing it right. But if you go out to market and you raise from VCs at $1 billion or $2 billion, like go look at how many tokens are trading at over $1 billion FTV. Like there's not fucking many of them. I'll tell you right now. So just like allowing retail to have this emotional tie and make money, I think that's something to be said about crypto moving forward.
Does it feel like
I totally agree.
Does it feel, even just outside of crypto, does it feel like that private market liquidity is just becoming more efficient to the point where companies are feeling like they don't have to shop it with retail for longer, right? Like, isn't Databricks doing a Series L? Like, what? SpaceX is going to launch at over trillion dollar valuation or something like stupid. Same thing with OpenAI. Like, retail is no longer getting in like the typical level where they feel like they can make money. And then a big thing that we see at Beluga when we talk to a lot of these companies about like valuations, the other side of it is that I feel like founders have put their ego in the market cap. Like if my coin doesn't come out at a $50 million valuation, then this is a failure. And it's like, well, I mean, it could start at 50 and go down to 10, or you could start it at 10 and let people make money. It's kind of up to you.
For sure. I think it's like I said, getting bid up in the private round by these VCs. Community rounds are pretty popular right now, but like I feel like now, because the market's not doing so well, a lot of these projects are setting FTVs lower, and then they can finally grow into their valuations. But to your point, like a lot of these founders, I don't know if it's a product of them wanting to get early liquidity, are pushing to get like tokens in market. And we will never tell our founders like you guys should launch a token. Like I said, equity investments are doing much better. And if your token, like I know many companies where they're doing very, very well, like $5-10 million in revenue, and their tokens basically trading at the same FTV. So if your token's in market, like it can be very discouraging for a founder. So we're trying to push people like, you don't need a token. You don't need a token. You know what I mean? Unless there's some actual really good use case, just build the damn company and there's no external pressure if you have a live token. Because I feel like, if a lot of retail associates the token price with the product, and they're completely different things. Like you can build a good product and have a shitty FTV.
I was at the Real Vision conference in Miami over the weekend, and the head of CoinFund, president of CoinFund, spoke, and he was talking about how he was talking to other, like a bunch of hedge fund managers who were outside of crypto, who wanted crypto exposure. They wanted exposure to altcoins, and he said that they were trying to put traditional, like, financial analysis on these coins, and tried to see, like, oh, is it a company that, like, has actual business, makes real money? Do the tokenomics make sense? And he said that in this group of all these hedge fund managers, there's pretty much only 20 names that they're comfortable looking at for a 5 to 10 year hold.
Yeah, no, I mean, I echo a lot of the same thesis. Like how I basically do my portfolio. Like I'm a Bitcoin maxi at heart, right? Like can never get enough Bitcoin. I'll never sell Bitcoin, at least until it goes north of $1 million. And then like the rest of my portfolio is ETH or Solana. After that, like I always treated my altcoin portfolio akin to how our VC operates. So all I would do is buy, 15 or 20 of the best projects. That means like good founding teams, products that people use, like users, and obviously like the product's good overall. And then revenue was always a big thing for me. I think fundamental season became a thing when all these altcoin projects were doing shit. So I was holding like 15, 20 different altcoin bags, and all you really needed to do was hit one or two of them. And if one or two of these altcoins took off, then you could return your entire portfolio. So at the end of the day, like my end goal is just to buy more Bitcoin, and all the proceeds are going to go over there. And when I sell to something, I'm just putting in USDC, and then I time Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin, it's pretty simple. Like you're gonna have seven to 8 dips, or maybe 9 dips per cycle. And when those 25 to 30% dips happen, like just buy more Bitcoin. It's like people overcomplicate things in this space, and at the end of the day, like if you hold Bitcoin for a 5 to 20 year range, like you'll be in a good spot.
I guess kind of switching tracks a little bit, if you were to not be in your investor role and instead be looking to start a company, maybe probably in the crypto space, but if you want to look outside that, totally feel free. What kind of area or problem do you think you'd be focusing on?
Yeah, this is a great question that I've actually never thought about until being live on this podcast. If I wasn't a VC and I wanted to start a company, I think it would be honestly like I'm super interested in like prediction markets. I don't know what specifically is broken over there. I think maybe the fact that everything is too public, like there's a lot of insider information going on. We need to like abstract, or not abstract. We need to like hide. We need to like basically morph prediction markets and privacy. I don't know if that's like me being a Canton bull, but like hide a lot of these core principles, whether it's like copy trade, because you don't realize like people that are copy trading on prediction markets are actually losing money. And I feel like prediction markets have flourished, right? You have like Kalshi and Polymarket have raised at like $10 billion plus valuations. You have the CFTC, you have the Internet Continental Exchange investing in Polymarket, expansion to the US. Just seems like an industry that's so ripe for adoption. I don't know if that's like because, like crypto traders are theoretically gamblers. And I think like prediction markets intersect the best of both worlds. But like prediction markets right now, if you go on all of them, they're very, very siloed ecosystems. You have to go to their front ends. Like I haven't really seen a good prediction market aggregator or more privacy tools built on prediction markets. So yeah, I'd probably be building over there to answer your question. And yeah, like I think on-chain prediction markets is a massive opportunity. And besides like Limitless and Myriad, one of our portfolio companies, haven't seen many good players in the space.
That was going to be kind of the follow-up. If you guys invested in any prediction markets, Myriad, I guess.
Yeah, so we did invest in Myriad, which is built out by Farouk. If you guys know who that is, shout out Farouk.
I met him in Miami.
Shout out, yeah, shout out Farouk and Loxy, absolute legends in the space. But yeah, we invested in their company. Essentially, got equity into Decrypt and Rug Radio. So it's actually a very unique approach, right? Because instead of these solid prediction markets that I was just talking about, you have Myriad, which actually embeds into Decrypt, which has 30 million plus viewers per month, embeds into YouTube, Google, Chrome, Twitter. So I think it's very, very useful instead of like having to go to these respective prediction markets. That's why Myriad makes sense. And I was actually just looking at the Dune analytics before this call, like just about to cross 200 million commit volume. Super cool over there. And then other investments on the prediction markets side, our most recent was Football Fund, more at the intersection. Yes. Yeah, more at the intersection between like fantasy sports and prediction markets. Initial rollout was soccer. They just did American football. It's funny because like I can't help but to laugh at myself. I told myself like no more NFTs, no more after Top Shot, no more after the crypto gaming spiel.
We want you back, Jackie.
I'm back. Like, I bought like so many of these different players on the soccer markets and football markets just to for the airdrop, and what they've done with their like nonlinear vesting schedule, I think is very, very bullish. So yeah, Football Fund's a really cool one that we just did.
Okay, Will might lose his mind when I ask this question, but how is Prospera?
Prospera was absolutely awesome. I don't even know, like, there's probably no words to describe it. I was listening to Beatty on your guys' podcast. But yeah, essentially Beatty's like, hey, like, do you want to go to Honduras? And I'm like, for what? He's like, oh, to go to Prospera. I'm like, oh, like, at being in crypto, I think if you're in crypto, you've heard of Prospera, right? And I've heard people talk about like Balaji. I saw like the Brian Armstrong doc, but I had no idea what to expect. So I met Andrew there, and like within the first like 10 minutes of getting there, I see like Bitcoin everywhere, like, Bitcoin signs, and we're getting this whole tour. And it was honestly the first time when I was like, holy shit, crypto and Bitcoin is going to be massive. Like I'm telling you, I was spending my Bitcoin at the golf course, the Bitcoin at the coffee shops, the Bitcoin at the restaurants, the Bitcoin at the hotels. Like it was sick. Anyways, pretty awesome. Like they've got this whole like economic development properties you guys probably know, 400 plus, maybe 500 plus residents that are living there full time, building amazing companies, not only in crypto, but like the whole bio landscape, because they've got their own jurisdiction to register your company, very, very favorable tax zone. But yeah, we did a lot of cool shit. Like there was a Solana hackathon, saw these pitches, toured the entire properties, had a beachfront villa. Like it was absolutely ridiculous. But my highlight of Prospera was like, I am addicted to golf. Like I absolutely love golf. And we're getting a tour around this property in a golf cart, and I see this beautiful golf course. And I'm like, baby, like, do you mind if I play? Like, can I ask these guys, like, can I play? And they set me up with a tee time, like 7:30 in the morning. And I show up to the golf course. I'm not kidding you. Like Pete Dye course, oceanfront views, island holes, like super, super nice. I was the only guy on this golf course. Like legit, I've never seen a golf course with no one on it. I was on this golf course by myself. I played it around in probably an hour and 15 minutes. Like Pete Dye golf course, sick. But honestly, like, how was it? It's absolutely amazing. I think we're gonna have an event there later this year, and you guys should come. We're gonna invite a lot of investor friends, a lot of our portfolio companies. This place is absolutely dope.
I think moving to Prospera might be in Aiden's future. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's where it's tracking, Will, based on this podcast. I'm slowly turning Will into an anarcho-capitalist network state maxi, one episode at a time.
I love it. We'll have to do some peptides and some gene therapy too.
I'm down. Yeah, let's all boost. Let's all put Brian Johnson in his place.
Exactly.
He's not the only one that gets to live forever.
I guess we should probably do the lightning round soon, but there's one more question I wanted to ask. Is there a view you hold that would be contrarian and that most other crypto VCs would probably disagree with you?
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't thought about that before. Maybe honestly, like, I think a lot of VCs now at the time or right now would agree with me on the equity side, but like back in 2021 or even 2017, what a lot of the most successful venture funds was based on like what I was talking about earlier on the equity side. Like tokens were the easy way out, and tokens were that's how you made money in crypto, especially as a venture fund. But like the contrarian approach that we took was the equity side. But like an updated contrarian, I really haven't thought about that, so I don't have a good answer for you. But I really do think like the equity side of crypto is super, super interesting, and M&A and IPO markets, like it's never been hotter for crypto.
Let's go into the lightning round, guys.
I guess kind of hold on. One more follow up.
Okay.
Like kind of prodding the bear somewhat. So my Aiden was kind of alluding to this earlier. I have a somewhat strong opinion that I think most retail should not have access to early stage rounds. And I think, you know, the token world kind of opened those doors wide open, and now we're maybe moving back towards, you know, the equity side, and if not equity, then tokens that act more like equity. I guess first kind of general side of that question, do you think retail should be able to do VC investing? And if so, you know, kind of how would that look in your perfect world?
Well, I guess you have to be an accredited investor to get in some of these private deals. Like a lot of these, like launch pads, like Eco, Legion, etc. Like you have to have, or you have to qualify for doing so. But yeah, like I think nowadays, because like people are so against VCs, like I think it's essential to go raise some of these like public launch pads to get retail excited. But yeah, I don't know, like if I would advise retail to do it, because I think like the diligence process is very hard to weed out like what's good from bad. But like if you have like strong conviction, or you know you've done your homework, like it could be a very good opportunity. I know like a lot of the Legion sales are up quite a bit from the private valuations. But yeah, like this, like I said, like you got to do your homework in this space. Like it's not just like a spray approach. Yeah, I think you have to get burned before you actually do well in this space. Like I don't know about you guys, but I've been burned on NFTs like quite a bit. I no longer will trade on leverage. Like I'm a spot guy. Like until you lose in this space, you have to lose in order to win in crypto. So I would not recommend, if you're like a normie, to get in any of these private deals.
We all had to pay our tuition at one point or another, or multiple points, actually.
Well, Aiden
It's a
is on
constant
the mission.
tuition.
Aiden's on the mission to hopefully drop out of school, so hopefully we can clip some of this content and make that happen.
Yeah, we're paying the tuition one way or the other, right? It's either if you just want to send it to school or to the trenches. And I would prefer to send it to the trenches. Before we do the lightning round, for those who may have joined late, we are having a great conversation with Jackie from Side Door Ventures. We are talking about all things crypto VC. Jackie's about to give us a few of his key opinions in this lightning round in 30 seconds or less. If you guys don't know us, we're Beluga. We're the nerd wallet for crypto. We have a newsletter with 100,000 subscribers. Comes out 3 times a week. Written by the boy Will, and we also host this podcast where we get the most interesting people in crypto to tell us their story and give us some alpha on the way. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, make sure you follow us here on X at HeyBeluga, and make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, heybeluga.com. So without further ado, Jackie, we got the lightning round for you. Each answer 30 seconds or less. So
Cool.
What's your favorite crypto?
All right, this is a boring answer. Bitcoin's by far my favorite crypto. Like I said in the pod already, I'm a Bitcoin maxi at heart. I will not be selling Bitcoin until it reaches north of $1 million. And every single time Bitcoin dips 20 or 30%, I'm buying. And to the viewers, you won't regret buying if you dollar cost average, or you're buying these 20, 30% dips. Bitcoin's always king, and eventually Bitcoin will be thought of as digital gold, in my opinion.
What was your most memorable trade?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of memorable trades. I think this was just a product of the chaos that was happening in the market. Most memorable trade was after FTX. I bought Bitcoin around 60,000 with some size. It's funny because like Andrew or Sidor, they prepay me for the year. So at the time I had been prepaid for the year, and I bought a lot of Bitcoin with my salary, and they're like, "You're fucking crazy." And now, like looking back, like it's been one of the better investments that I've ever made, and very, very memorable. At the time, people were calling me stupid. I'm like, look at me now. So yeah, that's the most memorable, not in terms of gains, but by far the most memorable.
That's baller. NFTs, yay or nay?
Fuck, man.
This is a loaded question, by the way.
Dude, I would give up my left toe for NFTs to come back. Deadass. I would left toe for NFTs to come back. I put a lot of money into NFTs in the past, like still holding Doodles and a couple other blue chip NFTs. I think
when they do, we're cutting off Will's left toe.
Actually, okay, so this is extremely contrarian of me. I think like right now, obviously NFTs are in the shit, but when people start making money in crypto again, which I think will happen, once that Bitcoin run up and then the alts, NFTs or at least blue chip NFTs like Pudgy, Bored Apes, whatever, they're gonna have their moment again. Our Doodles too. So yeah, that's like I'm gonna say NFTs, yay, and I'd love to sell my illiquid as shit NFTs to someone else. So yeah, we're gonna say yes.
Okay, good man. What's your advice for someone just getting into crypto?
Yeah, my advice for someone getting into crypto. All right, don't use leverage. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're just lying to you. And I would say spot, no leverage. And yeah, that's probably my best advice. Anyone getting into crypto. And honestly, like this space moves so damn quick. Soak up as much information as possible. Like read articles, listen to podcasts, go on CT. Like I have done equities for a while. Like crypto moves so much faster. If you miss 1 or 2 days, like you're at a disadvantage. So just like try to meet as many people, read as much as possible, and learn the space.
Who's your favorite crypto influencer?
Oh, easy, BitBoy. Nah, I'm just fucking with you.
Come on, BitBoy's great. BitBoy's great.
My favorite crypto influencer is George Chung, Cryptos R Us. He's my homie. So yeah, shout out George from Cryptos R Us.
I like Bob Lax.
Nice. What about you, Will?
Like I might honestly have to say BitBoy. I'm not an influencers guy, but like in terms of content I've watched that clip of him pulling up to whoever's house in his Lamborghini all coked out so many times, man. Like in terms of overall viewership, it's gotta be BitBoy.
Dude, low key, like if you were like back then, his content
was great.
He
back
was
then.
good. He was the king, like influencer in crypto. Oh, the study of BitBoy, his fall off needs to be something.
It was a real fall off.
I definitely watched him a few times in college. Like I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, his fall off.
Same.
Yeah. So are you bullish or bearish right now?
I would classify myself as a perma bull. I'm never bearish, and I do think like the 4-year cycle is now invalid. I don't know when crypto will run, but I'm definitely in the camp that 2026 will be an extremely positive year for crypto, just because you have the midterms coming up, and the only thing that matters for crypto is liquidity. Like we're gonna get our moment. The fact that we have like these old fucking boomers dancing on our graves right now, with like the gold, silver, copper trade, like I'm telling you, when this shit tops, like we're gonna have our moment. I'm like beyond confident. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm definitely bullish as fuck.
Ethereum or Solana?
Oh man, why do you gotta do this to me?
This is a loaded question for Will.
Yeah, I'm an ETH fan from day one. I've made good money on both ETH and Solana. I think Solana's got a great ecosystem, great protocols, but ETH is my baby. Just if you look at like a lot of the RWA flows and the stable coins, that's all happening on ETH. And I've been buying ETH for a long, long time. And I'll say ETH, but like if anyone likes Solana, I'm also holding Solana. So you can't go wrong with either.
Good man. Good man.
What's your favorite meme coin?
Oh man. I'm actually the biggest meme coin hater. I think meme coins are one of the reasons that we never had our altcoin cycle in 2025. I don't know if that was a product of Trump, Milana, and a lot of like these launches, maybe Pump Fund. Like Pump Fund, someone was going to build this product, right? Like Pump Fund, an amazing product. I would buy the Pump Fund token in full transparency. I wouldn't buy any of their launches. Like fucking almost 100% of them are going to zero. But my favorite meme coin is Pepe. So this is one of the reasons I don't trade meme coins. I was one of the first 15,000 holders at Pepe. And I remember I was at F1 with Beatty, and he's like, oh, you didn't tell me about Pepe. It ran up to a crazy amount. And then I sold, but he was like joking. He's like, dude, I'm getting rid of you. Like, screw you. Well, like if I didn't ever sell Pepe, like probably would be sitting in a much nicer apartment at this point. But yeah, that's like my one meme coin that I always like love. Since Pepe, I haven't bought a single meme. Oh, I think about Pengu for a little bit. That's it.
And then finally, what's your hottest crypto take?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked quite a bit of like commodities. I think over the next 10 or 15 years that Bitcoin finally will be considered digital gold, and Bitcoin will surpass the market cap of gold. So Bitcoin, I think right now is 22 times less than the market cap of gold, but I suspect eventually like Bitcoin's going to flip gold. Like that's my hottest crypto market take.
I love it. So do you have any last words for the people? Anything you want to share?
No, I think got it all. Like, appreciate you, Will, Aiden. Like, this podcast has been super fun. If you guys ever have any, projects that are looking to raise capital, please send them my way. Or anyone who's, looking more at the educational side of crypto or VC, like, feel free to contact me. I'm always game to chalk it up with people. Just want to bring in as many people to the space as possible because I think the three of us are super, super passionate, trying to grow it as much as possible.
Will, any final thoughts?
ETH over Solana, baby. That's my closing remark.
Let's go, boys. Yeah, I love it.
Boom.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, this has been great. Jackie, thank you for coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for coming on, Jackie. And thank you to everyone who joined, watched all the way through. We loved having you. And make sure you follow up all the speakers. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, heybeluga.com. Make sure you like, comment, share, repost. If this gets on the trending page, I will drop out of school the very next day. So please make that happen. I don't want to take another midterm. I want to go back to the trenches. Goodbye, everyone.